Okay, guys, welcome. Happy Thursday. We have a nice 6-game NBA slate to go over. As far as injury news, the big one going into last night was Steph Curry is questionable. He then got upgraded to probable. He's now available to play. So that was really the one big piece of news. There's a couple other things that came out recently. Gafford is questionable. That's something to keep an eye on, right? Harrell will probably get a pretty big minutes bump if Gafford can't go. Let's see, Naz Reid questionable, not a big deal, but he was playing around 15 minutes off the bench. Rudy Gay is available to play for the Jazz. Also, Will Barton got upgraded to questionable, so if he gets ruled in, that would be a downgrade to guys like Monte Morris, usage-wise, probably Bones Highland a little bit. It would move Austin Rivers back down to the bench and make him unplayable. So that's really the news that we have so far for the 6-game slate. But yeah, guys, hope you guys had a good night last night, and let's talk about this one. Leave some questions in the chat. Again, it'll be Q&A style. And make sure to leave a like button on the live stream and subscribe to the channel. Okay, Patrick, what's up, man? How's it going, man? What's up? Stars and scrubs or balanced builds? I think it could go either way, but I would say the balance is probably a little bit safer. You like Siakam? I think Siakam will be pretty low owned because of the matchup. No OG Anunoby, a little bit of a usage bump. He's probably going to play close to 40 minutes of the game. Stays close, right? The positive with him and Fred VanVleet is they just play massive minutes. But, yeah, not really the best matchup, which I think will keep the ownership relatively low. Is Garland over Rubio okay for leverage GPPs? It's fine. I think more often than not, Rubio's I would rather play Rubio than Garland. Now, Garland did outscore him last game, but most of the time, Rubio has been higher usage than Garland. But I also think he comes in at a lot less ownership. So perfectly fine playing Garland over Rubio. I think more often than not, Rubio outscores Garland. But again, the ownership, I think, will be a lot lower on a guy like Garland. All I'm going to say about Golden State is you can't trust Steve Kerr. So sure, Iguodala's out. They can just add Juan Toscano-Anderson to the rotation. There's so many different ways. You would think a normal coach would play Otto Porter Jr. more? Nah, not Steve Kerr. He's just going to add a 14th guy to the rotation. So is it possible Otto Porter plays over 20 minutes tonight with Iguodala? It's possible, but I'm not convinced that happens because of the way that Steve Kerr runs his rotation. Do you like Paul George? He's fine. I don't think he's his best bend up, but he's playable at 11K. I think that's the highest total, the Memphis game. I believe that's the highest over-under. It's 220.5. Well, the Spurs one's a little bit higher, but second highest total on the slate. So how do you feel about Draymond Green tonight? He's a fine filler option. Doesn't stand out, but if it's the last piece in, it's okay. Should play 32 to 34 minutes in a competitive game. A guy that does have triple-double upside. So, yeah, he's in play. Yeah, Bam's probable. Derek White, too cheap. I mean, those Spurs, besides DeJounte Murray, those guys are all kind of secondary options for me. White, I think gets somewhere around 25 to 30 minutes. Again, let's just go to the Spurs, right? They're all just secondary plays. Keldon Johnson, secondary play. Derek White, secondary. Vassell, McDermott, Lonnie Walker. These guys all look like the same. We do have Jakob Poeltl back, too. And keep an eye on that. If there's no limitations for Poeltl, he's in play. They might take it easy a little bit on his Metso since he's been out for a while. So that's something to keep an eye on for news. Boucher and Achua out. Does Nick Nurse play more than 15 minutes? I'm not convinced about that, especially with Khem Birch there, right? Last time Boucher played big minutes was when both Birch and Achua were out. Birch is now in. And they were actually prioritizing Birch over Boucher. So I'm probably not going to mess with that. Cat's been a little bit disappointing this year, but I think he's in play as a contrarian setup. He definitely doesn't stand out. Plus, you have Poeltl back, which is a downgrade. If Jakob Poeltl was out, then I would have liked Karl-Anthony Towns a lot more because he would just be able to feast against like Eubanks and Thad Young. But now you have Jakob Poeltl back, and Poeltl's actually a decent defender, so yeah, it doesn't stand out. Utah plays their starters pretty deep in a blowout. Like last game, they're up by 30, and they had their starters in until like 5 minutes to go. So Utah's historically a team that plays their starters big minutes, even in blowouts. Yeah, Bam's probable. Any interest in Boucher or Birch? Not much, no. I'm not convinced Boucher plays a ton. Like people always want to play Chris Boucher. I get it. He's a good point per minute guy, but like I think Kem Birch is over him in the rotation. Zubac, yeah. So with Batum out, we saw Zubac close. Like I don't think they can go small now. So if Zubac plays over 30 minutes again, he's a good play at 5.1K. Shake Milton at 5K of starting, a good play. Yeah, he got it. Like I don't know if he plays 35 minutes again. Again, that game was a massive blowout, but if he starts again, I have some interest in him. He's 5K flat. It's not the best matchup, but yeah, I think he's for sure in play. Thoughts on Rudy Gobert? Feels like a pretty safe option. You should be able to get a ton of rebounds against a small ball Toronto team, and he probably plays 32 to 34 minutes in competitive games, so he feels like a pretty safe play. Do you like Raul Neto? It depends who the Wizards start. If the Wizards start Aaron Holiday, then yes, I think Neto's a good pivot in tournaments. Guys, we're already at about 100 viewers, only 24 likes. Make sure you're coming in and you enjoy. Hit that like button. It really does help me out a ton. Warriors run a 34-man rotation. They do. Who do you think starts for OG? My guess is it's Svi Mikhailuk, but we'll have to see. Do you like Pat Beverly? I think Pat Beverly is a solid value. He's played pretty big minutes. That's the positive. It's the highest total game also of the slate. The Spurs are not great in the defensive end. Again, blowout here, competitive game here, 35 minutes, competitive game here, 34 minutes, competitive game here, 34 minutes. So I think we get mid-30s minutes from Patrick Beverly. So I think he's a pretty safe play. Beal might not be worth the chalk. I don't think Beal's going to be chalk. I guess I could be wrong on that, but I don't think Beal is going to be like chalky against Miami. Tough matchup here. Sure, Dinwiddie's out. He'll get higher usage, but I don't think he's going to be chalk. How do you feel about Bledsoe today? The minutes have been ticking up on him. However, now the price is coming up, so he's kind of just a filler play for me. Like I think he plays 30 to 35 minutes. Again, like I said, the minutes are ticking up, but also this price is now up to almost 6K, so he seems priced about right. Zubac or Adams? I mean, I think the upset's higher on Zubac, but I'm not convinced either play big minutes. Like there's a chance both teams could go small. Denny with Gafford, questionable. I don't know if Denny really gets a boost. It would be Harrell, the guy I would look to. Now, Denny has been playing relatively well. I don't know if he's going to be super popular, but like the minutes are ticking up on him, 28, 25. So if we get like mid-20s minutes from Denny, then he's certainly in play for value. Also, like the rebounds have been ticking up, 10, 11, 9 rebounds, 3 of the last 5 games. You think if Svi Mikhailuk starts, then I think he plays over 30 minutes because the Raptors run their starters big minutes. So if Svi starts, I think he plays big minutes. What do you think of Jimmy Butler tonight? I think he's a solid spend up. Keep an eye on Hero news. If Hero gets ruled out, probably a little more usage for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy doesn't look as good as he did yesterday, but still viable. Beal or Ja? I mean, I like the matchup better for Ja. Vassell been balling. He had a bad game last game. Again, the Spurs, they're all just like secondary options for me. Like if Vassell's shooting well, they can play him 30 minutes. If he's struggling shooting, not playing well, they can really limit his minutes. So those like wings are all the same to me. Keldon, Vassell, McDermott, Lonnie Walker. Those guys are all the same. Meaning like no one really stands out. Like you can play them, but they never stand out to me. Draymond Green or Garland? I think the upside play there is Garland. So he's probably the upside play. Draymond maybe a little bit safer. What do you think of Jimmy Butler tonight? Definitely in play. Curry, Rubio, Russell, Kennard, Brooks. Green, Birch, Gobert. Should I switch Curry and Gobert from Morant and Jokic, or is this okay? I mean, I would probably rather have Morant and Jokic than Curry and Gobert. Kennard, a good play. Keep an eye on Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann is currently questionable. We do have Batum out, so I think Kennard probably plays mid-20s minutes at least. If Terrence Mann gets ruled out too, then you could see 30-plus from Kennard. But what I actually think happens is with Batum out, if Mann doesn't play too, I actually think they start Amir Coffey. I wouldn't have a ton of interest in him, but like I think he would actually start. Again, wouldn't do much for me. I don't think I would play Amir Coffey, but I just think based on what I've seen in previous games here, that he would actually probably pick up the start. Shake or Monte, depends on Will Barton news. If Will Barton's out, it's going to be Monte Morris for me. If Will Barton's in, then it's probably Shake Milton. Ant projected well thoughts. Yeah, the mid-range looks decent, so I think Ant-Man's a solid option. Steven Adams, if I knew Steven Adams was going to play 30 minutes, I would really like him. However, his minutes have been fluctuating, so like it's a tough one here. Right? He played 37 minutes against the Pelicans. I played him here against a big Minnesota front court. He plays 19 minutes without foul trouble, 9 fancy points. I faded him against the Pelicans, 41 fancy points. Do you like Aaron Holiday? He's fine value if he starts. I think what I think happens here, Aaron Holiday starts and gets all the ownership. If that is the case, I'll play Rule Neto at a fraction of the ownership. But yeah, Neto, if he starts, or if Holiday starts, he probably plays mid-20s minutes. Fair value play, but I would prefer Neto at much less ownership. Edwards and Siakam, probably Ant-Man. I like the matchup better. How high owned do you think Jokic will be? 6-game slate. Pretty high, because I think he's probably the spend up that looks the best. So 40-ish. Just want to say thank you for the consistent content. Definitely helped me out a lot of it. Hey man, appreciate that, Matthew. Svi good value. No, if he starts, yeah, because Toronto runs big. The starters big minutes. Like Svi started. I forget who was out. Was it? It was Scotty Barnes, right? And you had a couple games where Svi started here, and he played 35 and 35 minutes. So like. Sure, Steve McCulloch's not the best point per minute guy, but if he starts here, I think he looks great. So just keep an eye on that one. Would you like Birch if he starts? They're going to start small, like almost guaranteed. But yeah, if Birch starts, then he's in play for value for sure. I don't think they do. I think they're going to want to, spread out Rudy Gobert, go small. Do you like Mann if he's in? Yeah, Mann's a good play if he plays. You think Scotty Barnes is a better point per dollar than Siakam? I think I would feel more comfortable with Siakam. Am I crazy for Donovan Mitchell tonight? No, I don't think he'll be super popular. I mean, last game was a blowout. So I think he plays 35 minutes in a close game. Again, I think he's going a little bit overlooked today, so I have no issue going to Donovan Mitchell. Bam. Yeah, Bam's solid. Thoughts on Otto Porter? He's playable, but like I'm not convinced he gets more minutes because it's Steve Kerr. Shake Milton, if he starts again, I like him. You like Paul George tonight. A little bit expensive, but if you want to pivot to Paul George off of chalky Jokic, you can. Prediction for Raptors starting 5. I think Svi moves in the starting lineup. So it's going to be Van Fleet. Here, let's go Toronto. It'll be Van Fleet, Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent, and Svi Mykhailiuk. That's my guess. I think they go small. Travis, what's up, man? Yeah, we're already at about 50 likes. Appreciate that, guys. We're taking a risk on Dylan Brooks. He'll be pretty low owned. The good thing with Dylan Brooks is he's aggressive on the offensive end. Like he's just going to shoot the ball a ton. 17, 18, 14 shot attempts. So at a 6-point price, a 6K price, it doesn't stand out. But he can still have upside if he gets really hot. Any interest in the Cavs bigs? I need to see who they start. If they start front court of Ed Davis and Dean Wade again, then, Ed Davis is playable. I don't know if he plays 24 minutes again, but, high teens maybe for Ed Davis. And then you have Dean Wade, who is not a good point per minute guy, but did play some at the 5, played 38 minutes. The Cavs front court is pretty gross. Hero's out. Okay. So with Hero out, it's a little bit of a bump to those other Miami guys. And then... maybe as a long shot play, maybe a guy like Max Struss becomes playable. 20-plus minutes the last 3 games. I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend that one with confidence, but for a tournament option, 3.4K Max Struss, I think you can have a little bit of interest there. Yeah, I think Neto's a solid play. I think he'll come in at less ownership than Holiday, assuming Holiday starts. I do think Holiday does start. Is Hero out? Someone said he was. Let's see. Dedmon available. Yep, Hero out. Bam available. Steph Curry available. You don't have to play Jokic, but I think he looks like a pretty good spend up. Prize picks. Let's see. I haven't looked at the board really yet. Let's see. NBA. Okay, so monitor the Gafford news, right? If Gafford gets ruled out, I think I like going over on Montrez because I think he plays probably mid-30s minutes. So, like, just have the notifications on, like Fantasy Labs or whatever, Underdog Fantasy, and, like, if Gafford gets ruled out, go take the over on Montrez at 29 fantasy points. I think that's the biggest edge in player prop sites like this is you have notifications on, and then when a player gets ruled out, like maybe surprisingly, like a player you didn't think gets ruled out, then go like to the other players and like take the over, right, on the same team. I think that's the big edge for a site like Prize Picks. Let's see. Is there anything else that stands out to me? Yeah, that's probably it. Board seems pretty sharp today. So, yeah, keep an eye on Montrez, and if Gafford gets ruled out, I think you go over. Who starts for Hero? Well, they're going to go back to their traditional starting five, right? Because now Lowry's healthy, so it's going to be Lowry, Duncan, Jimmy, PJ Tucker, and Bam, right? I think Montrez looks really solid, yeah, because he would go from playing like mid-20s minutes to probably playing 35. So even in a tough spot here against Bam and Adebayo, I think he would be a pretty good play. So, yeah. Gafford news, pretty big. Butler or Bam? That's a good question. I think Butler's probably a little bit safer if you have the salary. Struss starts. No, because Lowry's back, right? Because Lowry rested last game. So they're gonna go back to their normal starting five, right? It's going to be Jimmy, Bam, Lowry, Duncan, Tucker. But I do think Max Struss off the bench with Hero out now becomes a little bit interesting, right? I don't think he's going to like be Tyler Hero, but he might, be that like scoring punch off the bench for the Heat. So I think he's worth a look. We're taking a shot at Vanderbilt. I mean, he's always in foul trouble, but like he's really cheap. So assuming that Jared Vanderbilt starts again, then yes, like he's 3.5K. I think he probably plays low 20s minutes if he does start. So I think he's a fair value play. What do you think about Ed Davis versus the Warriors? If he starts again, I think he's fine. Like I don't think he plays 24 minutes again. Maybe he goes to like 17 to 18 minutes. But like it's playable value. Do you think Kevin Love gets 4 war? I don't, no. Because back-to-back, he played like 21 minutes last night, so I don't. Is Mobley out? Yeah, Mobley's out. If Steve Mikhailuk starts, I like him. Thoughts on Jeff Green? He's, like, I guess safe because of the minutes, but, like, it's Jeff Green. Right? He's going to start and play probably a competitive game, low 30s, right? This was a competitive game, 31, 33. So I think, like, 30 to 32 minutes is a pretty fair guess. Last 5 games, 15, 17, 27, 14, and 16. So more often than not, he's probably going to get you around 15 to 18 fantasy points, which is fine, but not great. So it's like he's safe because of the minutes, but like he rarely has upside. Clarkson, when Utah's fully healthy, they're all kind of secondary plays. But yeah, Clarkson can still have upside games. He just has to hit the shots, right? He shot 20 times last game. That's a little insane. But he also has a floor of like single-digit fantasy points if he's not hitting his shots here like Miami, and they really limit his minutes. So like Clarkson's never someone I would touch in cash games unless like Mitchell or Conley are out. So tournaments, sure, does have upside. Yeah. Aaron Gordon doesn't really stand out to me. Do you like the Heat studs more with Hero out? I mean, it's a small bump to guys like Jimmy, Hero, Bam, or Jimmy, Lowry, and Bam. And I do think Max Struss becomes like an interesting value play. Gary Payton with Steph Curry playing is just a secondary option, like just because he's not going to see big minutes. He's been productive, but I think he plays 15 to 16 minutes. So it doesn't really stand out. If Steph Curry is out, then it'll be a different story. Butler or George? I think Jimmy for the discount looks a little bit better. Derek White, he's a secondary option for me. The minutes, probably 25 to 30. I mean, really everyone below DeJounte Murray, they're all just like similar plays. Derek White, Keldon, Lonnie Walker, Vassell, Doug McDermott. Like probably one of those secondary options can have a good game, but they're all kind of just like filler plays for me. Favorite team to target for value? That's a good question. I don't know if I have a good answer for it. If Barton gets ruled out, I'll say Denver. Ja or DeJounte? Ja. Bones or Barnes or Draymond? Draymond. Like Kennard if no man? Yeah. I don't think Kennard would start. Like I think what the Clippers would do, they would start Amir Coffey. But I do think Kennard probably plays like 30-ish minutes. So yeah, he would look pretty good. Gobert or Siakam? I think Gobert seems safer than Siakam, just because matchup is like better for Gobert against a small ball team. Like he should be able to just like eat as many rebounds as he can. So you're saying DeJounte and Gobert or Jokic and Garland? That's another good question. I'll say the second one. Barnes and no OG for the Raptors. Doesn't really stand out. Here, let's go to Toronto. So like Scotty Barnes at 6'7", Siakam's at 7'9". I think I would rather go to Siakam over Scotty Barnes. But like I'm not saying Scotty Barnes is out of play. I just think I feel a little more comfortable with Siakam. Yeah, Steph Curry, we got news he's probable, so it should be good to go. Completely different lineup because of the news. So you got Curry, Shake Milton, Kennard, Butler, Jeff Green, Denny, Birch, Harrell, Gobert. Okay, yeah, so just like Birch is fine. I don't think he plays a ton of minutes. He is the flat min price. So, yeah, it's playable. I don't think I'd play Coffee. Slate's kind of I think this slate. I always prefer slates like this where there's like not a lot of clear standout plays, as opposed to a slate like last night where we had like very clear plays and guys like Brunson, Porzingis, the Heat guys, a couple very clear value plays where it's a little bit harder to get different. I prefer a slate like this where there's not a lot of standout plays. Which game would I think the game I would most likely want to stack would probably be the Spurs Timberwolves game. Thoughts on Darius Garland, Bane, Barnes, Vanderbilt, Jokic, probably Gordon, Rubio. Again, Gordon doesn't really stand out. Bane, what have his minutes been lately? I know he's been struggling a bit since Dylan Brooks came back. He's only 4-4. Yeah, I think he probably plays around 30 minutes in close games. So it's playable value. There's a lot of guys in that 4 or 5K range, again, that look kind of just like the same to me. Edwards or D'Lo? I think it's pretty much a toss-up because like both are in a good spot. Both are at almost identical price points. You have 7-7 for Ant-Man. He's playing like close to 40 minutes a game. And you have D'Lo playing about 35 minutes a game. He's handling the ball a little bit more. They're really like the same to me. Like Edwards has been a little bit, if you just look at fantasy points per game, he's done a little bit better than D'Lo. But also D'Lo's gotten injured a couple games. He also early in the season was playing less minutes. So they're pretty close to the same. Mitchell or Bam? Yeah, that's a good question. I think the upside is a little higher in Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, I think Butler for the price looks a little better than Paul George. Like Paul George 11K is not out of play, but like it's not a price that looks amazing either. I do like the spot for him. Pirtle's in, right? Did Pirtle get surprisingly ruled out too? Because we saw news that he's available, unless we just got news that he got scratched. Yeah. So like Pirtle's in, so I have no interest in Thad Young. I think he could get a DNP. Is Poole Wiggins in play? Yeah. Any interest in Rudy Gay? I mean, you can go there for tournaments. I'm not convinced he plays a ton. Like, he might take that Eric Pascal role, but like I don't know what his role is going to be. So like he could play 15 minutes off the bench and be fine. He could play 0 minutes off the bench. So like, yeah, if you want to take a shot on him, I can't confidently say how many minutes he's going to play. If I had to guess, I would say he takes that Pascal role and probably plays 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, Pirtle's in. I mean, yes, you can take a shot in Kuminga. You can take the Golden State guys are all like, sure, they're not going to play a ton of minutes. Kuminga's been good. I mean, he's got extended a bit because of blowout here. Be careful. Like he probably plays 8 to 10 minutes in competitive games. So like, it's going to be hard for him to pay off that salary. Not saying it can't happen. I mean, he had a really good game against Charlotte in a competitive game in 10 minutes, but like that, it feels like chasing a little bit, right? Because this game was a blowout. He played 19 minutes. This game was a blowout. So, like, I don't think he plays more than, like, 8 to 10 minutes unless the game turns into a blowout or, like, some foul trouble or something. So, like, I would just be careful with Kuminga. Yeah, if you're struggling, you don't have to. You don't have to, like, jam in Jokic. Murray or Butler, I think Jimmy's a little safer. I think Murray's got more upside. Thoughts on Rubio? I prefer him to Garland slightly. Should play 35-plus minutes. The Warriors have been really good defensively, like they have. Like, this is not the same team in previous years. But yeah, I think Rubio is one of my favorite plays in Cleveland. Edwards and Butler are the different price points. So, like, Edwards a little bit easier to get to, I would say, in an up-tempo game there against the Spurs. It's like him and D'Lo look pretty similar to me. All right, guys, I can stay on for a couple more minutes, so make sure to leave any more questions in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream as always. We had about, and once again, 150-ish concurrent viewers. A lot of likes, too. 63 likes. Appreciate that, guys. Tucker, we're talking about PJ Tucker because I don't really want to play PJ Tucker. Yeah, he's 4K. Probably not for me. Thoughts on Lowry now? Doesn't really stand out. He's what, like 7? Where's Lowry? 7'6". Yeah. Like he busted this game without Jimmy Butler. That was a little bit frustrating. So I don't think he stands out. My big shocker special? What do you mean by that? Struss? Yeah, I do think Struss is in play for tournaments. Like without Hero, you could see some more minutes for him. So I think he's at least interesting. Thanks, my guy. Plays first FanDuel lineup in months. Last night won 4K off $5. Nice, dude. That's a big win. Congrats. Neto, yeah, I think Neto's in play for value without Dinwiddie. My guess is Aaron Holiday starts, but I think Neto plays some more off the bench. So I'm intrigued by Real Neto at 3.2K. Like my guess is what happens is I think Holiday starts. I think Holiday gets a lot of the ownership. But I think Neto's a good pivot in tournaments, right? Because if Holiday's going to be like 20+%, Neto's going to be 2%, I would rather go to Neto. Now, I'm not sure if that's the way it's going to work out, but like, yeah, Montemore's good value. If there's no Barton, he's been pretty high usage. I like Monte if there's no Barton. I think Butler's a little safer than Bam. I mean, neither really stand out, but I think he's a little bit safer. Who's been the guy no one sees do well? I don't have a good answer for you on that. Roto has Svi at 8x. Know why? Because I think they're expecting Svi Mikhailiuk to start. And if Svi Mikhailiuk starts, he probably plays over 30 minutes. Thoughts on Steven Adams? If the minutes are there, I like him. Like if Steven Adams plays close to 30 minutes, I like him. But like I'm not convinced the minutes are going to be there. Svi with no Anunoby. Yeah, if Svi starts, I like him. Because I don't think they start like Birch or Boucher. I would think they start Svi. Because Toronto seems like they want to keep that small ball lineup going. So, yeah. Max Reed. Are you talking about Naz Reid? Naz Reid is questionable. If he does play for tournaments, yeah. He's fine. Like he'll play low to mid-teens minutes. He'll be productive when he's out there. So if he does end up playing, then he's definitely viable. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's basically it, guys, for news. I'll refresh one more time. Cool. Nas Reed and play. Yeah. Again, for tournaments, if he plays, he's good to go. Gary Trent or Scotty Barnes. Probably Scotty Barnes, just because I prefer players that can fill up a stat sheet as opposed to scoring-dependent players like Trent. Davis is a safe play. If he starts, he's fine. Like I don't know if he plays 24 minutes again, but I think high teens minutes for Davis. Probably gets like 15 to 20 fancy points. Yep, I think Siakam looks good. Barnes is playable, but I think I prefer Siakam. Yeah, guys, we hit about 70 likes. Appreciate it. Clippers are sneaky play. Yeah, keep an eye on Mann, right? If Terrence Mann gets ruled out, rotation should be pretty short. I think that would kind of solidify Zubac's minutes. I think they would want to close a little bit bigger. So, yeah, that's pretty big news. Also, Kennard would look good. But I'm going to call it on that, guys. So good luck on the 6-gamer. I hope you guys all have some big wins, some takedowns. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I think we have another pretty big slate on Friday. So I'll see you guys all then.